Welcome to the Padres Postgame Show on the Padres Radio Network. Coming up, we'll deliver a full recap of today's game, including highlights from the biggest moments. We'll take a trip down to the manager's office to hear from Mike Shildt. Plus, we'll bring you scores from around Major League Baseball. The Padres Postgame Show starts now on the Padres Radio Network.
We are live here at Petco Park as the Padres fall in 10 innings here tonight to the Arizona Diamondbacks by a final score of 7-5. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we wrap this one up. A full house still in downtown San Diego. They are waiting for the post-game fireworks, so still plenty of fun to be had here at Petco Park. Tough one here tonight for the Padres. A lot of good in this game, no doubt, but as we always say in extra innings, it so often comes down to execution, and the Diamondbacks able to put together a bit more of a rally in their half of the 10th inning, scoring 3. The Padres only getting 1 in their half of the 10th inning, but the Padres did have what you felt like was a golden opportunity in the bottom of that 10th inning. They had made it a 2-run game. And after that, they would end up having the bases loaded with nobody out. The tying and winning run on base in that bottom half of the 10th inning. But the bottom third of the Padres lineup, Bryce Johnson, Ha-Sung Kim, Kyle Higashioka, unable to get that big hit, the hit that could have tied this game in the 10th inning or even given the Padres a win. So tough one here tonight. Padres did a good job in this game coming back. They trailed 4-1 entering the bottom half of the 7th inning. They found a way to fight back. You love to see that. It's kind of the same the same kind of team we've seen now for a few weeks and really all year with the way they fought back during regulation. But again, extra innings, it's so much about execution. Some tough moments for Wandy Peralta in the top of the 10th inning. And again, tied at 4-4 going to the 10th inning. The Diamondbacks get 3 runs, the Padres get 1 run, and the Padres just could not get that hit in the 10th inning, and we've seen him get that hit very, very often as of late. Tonight, though, did not work out, and the Padres fall 7-5, and they'll try to win this series tomorrow, the rubber game tomorrow afternoon here at Petco Park. We'll come back, we'll recap this one, we'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Much, much more to come as the Diamondbacks beat the Padres 7-5 in 10. Our postgame coverage continues after this. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. Fireworks blasting off here at Petco Park. A beautiful fireworks show with many of the fans that were here tonight. Another sold-out crowd still in the building. Everybody pretty much stayed till the end. They were hoping for a Padres win here tonight. Didn't get that, but they are getting a fantastic fireworks show. I have a great view of it right now, actually, right over the field. I usually don't have such a tremendous view of the fireworks because I think usually they're sort of behind me, more towards center field than left field, but I think they're shooting these off from at least part of them from actually on the field. So I have a wonderful view of it right now. So I'm doing a post-game show and getting a fireworks show at the same time. And if you hear the booms behind me, that is the fireworks here at Petco Park. Tough one here tonight for the Padres. They fall 7 of 5 in 10. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt coming up in just a little bit, so stay tuned for that. But first, let's recap this one in downtown San Diego.
What moments had the biggest impact on today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game recap on the Padres Radio Network.
Let's start at the very beginning. Matt Waldron on the mound today for the Padres delivered a 1-2-3 opening frame. In the bottom half of the first inning, the Padres got to work against Brandon Pfaadt. Luis Arraez hit a leadoff single. Jake Cronenworth reached on a one-out infield single. Manny Machado was next.
Here's the 0-2. Machado swings, hits it off the end of the bat into left field. Gurriel charging, has to play it on a hop. Arraez got a great read on his way home. He'll score as Suarez cuts off the throw. An RBI single for Manny. A little birthday steak and a 1-0 Padre lead in the first.
And a happy birthday to Manny Machado, celebrating his 32nd birthday here today. Early RBI for Manny. D-backs, though, answered in the top of the second. Christian Walker led off with an infield single. Waldron got the next 2 outs, but then issued a walk to Eugenio Suarez. That walk proved to be pretty costly, with Kevin Newman stepping to the plate.
Here's the 2-2. Newman swings, lines it softly into shallow left center. Merrill charging. It's going to drop in and a base hit. Walker motoring around third. He'll come in and score. It's an RBI single for Kevin Newman and a 1-1 game here in the second.
The score stayed tied at 1 until the top of the fourth inning when Lourdes Gurriel Jr. led off.
1-2. Hit in the air to deep left field. Profar turning around. He'll run back. Now he's just going to watch. Long home run off that line score that is on the second deck. The facing of the second deck. Gurriel is 13th home run of the season. And the Diamondbacks go in front 2-1 here in the fourth.
So a 2-1 Arizona lead. Pfaadt would pitch 4 scoreless innings for the D-backs. He started the 5th inning and gave up a leadoff double to Ha-Sung Kim. With 1 out and Kim still on second base, Luis Arraez hit a line drive off of Pfaadt's foot. Kim went to third. Arraez was safe at first base. Pfaadt came out of the game. He was replaced by Kevin Ginkel. Ginkel struck out Jurickson Profar and Manny Machado to end the inning. Matt Waldron was good tonight. He allowed just 2 runs through 6 innings. Waldron worked into the 7th, giving up a leadoff single to Eugenio Suarez. He came out of the game. Yuki Matsui came in. There was still a runner on first base with 1 out for the number 9 batter, Jose Herrera.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Barely got it off, and it's ripped in the air down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Going to go to the corner. Newman rounding second on his way to third. Profar just getting to it. Newman will be waved. He's on his way. He's going to score. An RBI double for the 9-hitter Herrera, and the Diamondbacks have added on. It's 3-1.
D-backs weren't done. Herrera was still on second base with 2 men away for Geraldo Perdomo.
Here's the pitch. Swinging a ground ball towards third. That's a fair ball, and it's going to kick down the line and roll as Herrera comes in to score. Perdomo on his way to second base. Going to get greedy. Try for 3. Profar comes up firing from the corner. Not in time. An RBI triple and a 4-1 Arizona lead.
So the Padres trailed 4-1 going to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Ha-Sung Kim reached on a 1-out infield single, I should say, that Geraldo Perdomo couldn't handle cleanly at shortstop. It was a base hit. Kyle Higashioka then hit a slow chopper on the left side of the infield. That was an infield single as well. A fielder's choice from Luis Arraez put runners on first and third base with 2 men away. Jurickson Profar was next.
Here's the 1-1. Profar swings, rips it fair down the left field line. Kim has scored Arise rounding third. Now he'll be held there. Profar into second in RBI double, and it's 4-2 here in the seventh.
With Arise on third base and Profar on second, it was Jake Cronenworth.
Mantiply delivers. Cronenworth bunts towards third. It's a beauty. Suarez bare hand throw to first, not in time. Arise came in to score, and it's a one-run game.
Beautifully executed squeeze play. Cronenworth laying down the bunt. Arise scoring from third base, and we had a one-run game. Diamondbacks manager Torey Lovullo brought in Bryce Jarvis to face Manny Machado with runners on first and third. Manny an opportunity to tie the game or give the Padres a lead. Machado struck out. Some not very good calls by the home plate umpire didn't help either. The D-backs still had that 4-3 lead. Jeremiah Estrada came in. He pitched a 1-2-3 top of the eighth inning to keep it a one-run game. Jarvis was on the mound for Arizona in the bottom half. Donovan Solano hit a leadoff double. Jackson Merrill struck out. Bryce Johnson flew out to center field. Solano went to third base. With the tying run now 90 feet away, the D-backs went to sidearm righty Ryan Thompson to face Ha-Seong Kim.
Thompson is set and ready. The 0-2. Kim swings, hits it in the air down the left field line. Fair ball! Gonna tie the game. Up against the wall. Gurriel picks it up, sends it to second, an RBI double, and it's 4-4 in the eighth.
A 4-4 game, a huge base hit for Ha-Seong Kim. The Padres, they trailed 4-1 going to the bottom of the seventh inning. 2 in the seventh, 1 in the eighth inning, and we were tied at 4. Adrian Morejon pitched a scoreless top of the ninth inning. Ryan Thompson did the same for the Diamondbacks out of their bullpen in the bottom half of the ninth inning. So we went to the 10th inning, tied at 4. Wandy Peralta pitching in the top of the 10th inning for San Diego. The automatic runner for Arizona was Corbin Carroll on second base. Geraldo Perdomo led off the inning with a bunt single to the third base side. Wandy Peralta got to it, but really had no play on it, so that put Carroll on third and put Perdomo on first base with nobody out. Randall Grichuk then pinch hit for Jock Peterson. He walked. So Arizona had the bases loaded, nobody out, top of the 10th inning, tied at 4. Christian Walker then dug in.
Here's the pitch, and a hard hit grounder up the middle that is through and into center, a base hit. Carroll has scored, Perdomo's on his way. Merrill comes up firing, the throw to the plate and the tag, not in time. It was bang, bang at the plate, but a 2-run single for Christian Walker as he turns around an 0-2 pitch, and the Diamondbacks go back in front. It's 6-4.
The 2-run lead would become a 3-run lead in the top of the 10th inning as the D-backs manufactured another run. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. flew out to right. Grichuk, who was on second base, then went to third, and Jake McCarthy ended up grounding into a force out. Ha-Seong Kim getting it to Cronenworth at second base. Walker was out at second, but Randall Grichuk did score from third base. So Jake McCarthy, RBI fielder's choice. That made it a 7-4 Arizona lead with a 3-run top of the 10th inning. So we went to the bottom half of the 10th inning. Padres trailing by 3. Tiago Vieira came in for Arizona. Jake Cronenworth was the Padres' automatic runner on second base. Manny Machado walked, and just like that, the Padres had the tying run at the plate in Donovan Solano.
Here's the pitch. And Solano swings, hits it in the air to right field, pretty well struck. Carroll racing back, over his shoulder, it gets down, rolls up against the base of the wall. Cronenworth is rounding third, he's going to be set. Machado will be held. It's a double for Solano, and a 2-run game. Still nobody out in the bottom of the 10th.
So the Padres had a golden opportunity. Still nobody out, like Jesse said. The tying runs in scoring position. Tyler Wade would pinch run for Solano at second base. So Manny on third, Wade on second base. It was now a 7-5 Arizona lead. Still nobody out. Jackson Merrill then walked to load the bases. So the Padres had the tying runs in scoring position and the winning run on base. Bryce Johnson, who I mentioned earlier, he had already had an at-bat in the 8th inning. He came in earlier in the game. That was after Luis Campusano pinch hit for David Peralta in the 7th inning. Then Johnson replaced Campusano in the lineup, went to play right field in place of Peralta. So that's why Bryce Johnson was in the number 7 spot in that 10th inning. Long story short, Johnson struck out for out number 1. The bases were still loaded as Humberto Castellanos came in to replace Vieira. He then struck out Ha-Sung Kim for out number 2. So the Padres unable to at least get one more run in with that runner on third base, and nobody out and then one out. So the game was left up to Kyle Higashioka. Again, the Padres had the bases loaded, a 7-5 game. Bottom half of the 10th inning, it was Castellanos against Higashioka.
2-2 to Higashioka. Castellanos delivers. That one is swung on, hit in the air, left field, not deep. To his left, McCarthy is there. He makes the catch, and the ball game is over. Padres made noise in the bottom of the 10th inning, but they could not come all the way back this time. And the Diamondbacks hang on for a 7-5 win in Game 2 of this series. That will set up a rubber match here tomorrow afternoon.
Padres with the defeat drop to 49-44. Arizona with the win improves to 44-45. And the difference in this game, the 10th inning. Diamondbacks scoring 3, Padres scoring 1. You felt like they had a golden opportunity in the bottom half of the 10th inning to tie this game or win it. They could not find that one hit they needed tonight. And let's be honest, they've been doing that a lot lately, finding that one big hit they need. Could not do it here tonight. I don't think it's the end of the world. Rubber game tomorrow. We'll see if the Padres can take this series against Arizona. But a tough-fought game here tonight, no doubt about it. But again, Arizona able to get the 2 runs on the 2 RBI single from Christian Walker in the top of the 10th inning to make it a 6-4 game, and then manufactured the 3rd run. And that ended up being important, the fact that the Diamondbacks were able to add on a little bit in that top of the 10th inning. And again, the Padres look promising in the bottom of the 10th inning, but they do fall by a final score of 7-5. Looking at the box here quickly, good game for Donovan Solano. 2 doubles, a run scored in this one, RBI. Luis Arraez had 2 hits in this game. Jay Cronenworth had 2 hits in this game. A nice night for Ha-Sung Kim, who had 3 hits, couple of doubles, an RBI double to tie the game in the 8th inning. But again, Kim came up in that bottom of the 10th inning, a chance to tie it, a chance to win it, struck out. So again, bottom half of the 10th inning, Padres could not find that one hit they needed. Let's go downstairs here at Petco Park, and here's some post-game reaction.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Presented by Sinley Food. Spice up your culinary life.
To battle back, and then there were some different points in the game where maybe things could have gone differently. Where did you see this one as being lost?
Well, I'm not sure I didn't quite answer it. I mean, clearly the 10th was, not getting them out on the bunt was a big play. We know Perdomo was going to bunt, put down a good bunt, couldn't make a play, so it opened it up for a bigger inning. So I think that's probably the best I can do with your question.
It's a pretty good bunt. Should he have let Manny get that, or? Yeah,
we know we're going to get it out there. I mean, we know he's going to bunt. We know we're going to get it out, try to make a play. Didn't happen. Made a good bunt. And, really that whole inning, even Wandy, the walk to Grichuk, but, got to bring the infield in at that point. Walker hits a, 15 hopper, gets through. That's what happens when you compromise a little defensively. And, decided to go to Kolek, who I thought threw the ball really well. I mean, effectively that inning, they got the bunt, the 15 hopper through the middle, and, the sac fly to right. So, and then we did our part on the bottom half. We just couldn't get the big hit to tie or win it.
What did you think of Waldron tonight, the way he, after that kind of rough second inning, he managed to make it into the 7th?
He was tremendous. I mean, in the long second, and after that, he was super efficient. And he's a guy that's gotten better as he goes, and, had a really quick 6th, and, wanted to like the matchup with Suarez. We're going to go Suarez, maybe Newman, and then go to Yuki. That way we didn't really have to, use another reliever at that point, but in that lane. But, Suarez had a good bat and, got one in the left. But I thought Waldron was fantastic.
The fact that, you came back the first time and you mounted what you did in the 10th inning, is there much to take from that, given that it kind of continues a theme that we've seen recently of the fact that you're never out of it?
I just think that's who we are. I mean, that's just the identity of this club. I don't think there's any doubt we're going to – if you're going to get on top, if you're going to, at the end of the day, you're going to have more than we are, you're going to earn it. And guys fought their tails off, and like I said, just couldn't get the big hit in the 10th.
In the top of the 10th inning, can you take us through the mechanics of bringing the infield in there? I mean, obviously you want to prevent that run.
Yeah, we got run prevention at that point. They've already scored a run, so we got to be able to cut a run down. So we got a guy that can run a little bit at third. So it's one of those situations kind of either way, right?
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt after tonight's game here on the Padres Radio Network. Padres fall 7-5 in 10 innings to the Arizona Diamondbacks. And I'm glad we heard there from Mike about the bunt from Perdomo in the 10th inning. That was a really, really critical play in this game. If you really want to draw up that top of the 10th, because of this, I didn't have a great view of it, to be honest with you, until right now, until I just went back and kind of looked at the play. I knew Manny was in at third base. Perdomo was clearly going to bunt there, and I'm looking at the high home angle of it right now. Manny is really in from third base, and I'm not totally sure what happened there. Peralta went after that bunt really hard. I'm looking at the high home replay right now. I think if Manny fields it, I think he's going to get Perdomo at first base. And the reason that's so important is because let's live in a world where they do record that out of Perdomo on the bunt. Well, then you've got Carroll on third base, one out instead of runners on first and third, nobody out. And who knows how the inning unravels from there. So that was a weird spot in the top of the 10th inning where the Padres clearly seemed to know that Perdomo was bunting. I think everybody in the building could see he was probably going to bunt there, and they just did not execute. Again, we use that word so often in these extra innings, and it's not just about the offense. It's about what you do pitching-wise and defensively, too, and the Padres just didn't execute defensively. Peralta went after that bunt really hard, and Manny was already way in, playing it sort of perfectly the way he at least was set up for it before the pitch. So that was a big moment. And then, look, Peralta did not help himself. It was not a great inning for Peralta because he goes after the bunt and just sort of a weird play there where he got there and he had no play on it, and I'm not really sure what happened on the bunt. But after that, he then walks Grichuk, the pinch hitter, and that loads the bases with nobody out, and you've got a really, really good hitter in Christian Walker, who made Peralta and the Padres pay with a 2-run single and gave the D-backs a 2-run lead. So look, again, name of the game in extra innings, like we've said many, many times, is execution. Padres didn't do a great job of that in a number of respects in the 10th inning, both in the top half, what we just talked about with the bunt, with Peralta walking a batter, but then also in the bottom half of the 10th inning. Look, Solano, the double to make it a 2-run game. Padres had the bases loaded with nobody out, and like Mike Shildt said, they needed that big hit, and they couldn't find it here tonight. Is what it is. Tough one here tonight, and we'll see if the Padres can bounce back tomorrow in the rubber match of this 3-game series. We'll step aside. We'll continue to talk about this one and much, much more to come. Final in 10, Diamondbacks 7, Padres 5. More post-game coverage after this from Petco Park. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score here tonight in 10, the Diamondbacks 7 and the Padres 5. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. If you want to get a phone call in, you can. 833-288-0973. Phone number, as always, if you want to chime in. Also taking your tweets and your Instagram DMs at Sammy Lev, SAMMYLEV. If you want to sound off that way, of course, if you're watching tonight's post-game coverage on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, you can comment on any of those platforms. I'll read through those during one of our next breaks and maybe get to some of those coming up in a little bit. We'll have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard and much, much more to come. Before we continue on, I did a lot of talking there in the last segment about the top of the 10th inning. Let's talk a little bit more about the bottom half of the 10th inning, because obviously the Padres make it a 2-run game after the Solano double. Merrill walks. The bases are loaded. Nobody out. And a spot there with Johnson and Kim at the plate where what really hurt the Padres in that bottom half of the 10th inning was the fact that Johnson and Kim both struck out. Because you think about it this way. Let's say Johnson there just puts a ball in play. I mean, I have to go back and look here. I mean, the infield was back, if I'm not mistaken. I would imagine it would have been back against Johnson there, and I'm going to take a look here. But if Johnson ends up putting the ball in play, and it was, if he hits a ground ball pretty much anywhere there, it may end up being a double play. Johnson runs well, so let's live in a world where he hits a ground ball, right, and a run scores. You can get that runner from second base to third, or even just a fly ball deep enough somewhere to get the run in from third, get the runner from second to third. Now the tying run is 90 feet away with only one out. The point being, there were a number of scenarios there where maybe by just putting the ball in play, it makes it a one-run game and it gets the tying run to third base with one out, and then you're looking at a situation where maybe Ha-Seong Kim, all he needs to do is get a fly ball deep enough or put the ball in play, and you tie the game. The 2 strikeouts by Johnson and Kim, those were critical in that bottom half of the 10th inning, and then Higashioka flies out to left to end the game. So, again, I've said it now a handful of times, right? Execution. Offensively and defensively in the top of the 10th inning. Peralta, walking, Grichuk, and you got to make pitches. So it's about execution in those extra innings. We talk about it so often, and Diamondbacks just did it a little bit better in their half of the 10th inning than what the Padres did in the bottom half. Let's tell you about today's relief pitcher of the game.
Which pitcher was able to come in and slam the door shut? It's time for the relief pitcher of the game in support of the Jacobs and Cushman San Diego Food Bank, providing food assistance to local children, families, and seniors in need. To get help or give help, visit SanDiegoFoodBank.org.
Our relief pitcher of the game here tonight will keep on the Padres side of things because we do have some options here, and we'll give it to Jeremiah Estrada. He was really good here tonight. Estrada, 1-2-3 8th inning, struck out a couple of guys, did it very efficiently, 15 pitches. Very nice job by Estrada. And you know what? Look, at that point in the game, it's a 1-run deficit. That's before Kim tied the game with the double in the 8th inning. So Estrada came in, did his job. Kept it a 1-run game, and in the bottom half of the inning, the Padres did end up tying it. So good job by Estrada. Good job by Morahone, too, in the 9th inning to keep it a 4-4 game and get the game to the bottom half of the 9th inning where one swing could have won it for the Padres. Really, even look at the bottom half of the 9th inning. And again, I'm not faulting the top of the lineup here. They've had some big moments as of late, but you had the part of the lineup you want up. Arise, Profar, Cronenworth, 3 ground outs, and that brought us to extra innings. So good job by Estrada and Morahone. Estrada keeping it a 1-run deficit. Morahone keeping it tied. Certainly gave the Padres an opportunity to win this game. So tonight's relief pitcher of the game will go with Jeremiah Estrada. Nice job in that 8th inning. We'll step aside, come back with more. If you want to get a phone call in, the phone number is always 833-288-0973. Again, 833-288-0973. We'll take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard, continue to talk more about this ball game. We'll talk a little bit about some of the things that happened earlier in the game, because we haven't even really touched on Matt Waldron here tonight and sort of what happened in the first 7-8 innings of this game. Obviously, a lot happened in the 10th inning to break down, but a lot to discuss before that 10th inning as well. Final score, D-backs 7, Padres 5 in 10. More post-game coverage after this. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as the Padres wrap up, or I should say I wrap up this game here tonight. Padres fall 7-5 to the Arizona Diamondbacks in 10. Take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming up in just a moment. We'll also get into more of our daily awards and continue to talk about this game. I do want to read a comment here from YouTube because I'm a little confused by this one, and I kind of want to be clear with how I feel about tonight. Paul on YouTube saying, Sammy, you're in dreamland. They lost the game. They've been doing great. Leave them alone. Paul, this game, I think I made this clear, and when I started talking about it, this game does not take away how well they've played. They've played great, and they're still 12-4 in their last 16 games. Okay, I'm not overly worried or making any grand proclamations about them from this game, and just the idea that they weren't able to win a game in extra innings. Look, here's the bottom line about extra innings in 2024 in Major League Baseball. With the automatic runner, you never know what's going to happen. It's super hard to predict. It's super hard to forecast what on earth is going to happen in extra innings these days, because there's the wild card of having a runner on base. And look, today was a good example, and this is kind of the point, Paul. Today was a really good example in the sense of why is it such a wild card in extra innings? Because, if you make one mistake, or you don't execute something properly or well enough as you should, it can change whether you're going to win the game or not. It comes down to the really little things, and there's just not much margin for error because of the way extra innings are set up now. So my point is this, is that I can do two things at once. I can tell you about the 10th inning, tell you about some of the things that didn't go right in this game for the Padres, and also totally acknowledge that this, to me, is not a big deal tonight, that they didn't win this game. They weren't going to win every game the rest of the year, despite how well they've been playing, despite the magical moments they've had at home as of late. All right, you split the first two games of this series. Dylan Cease on the mound tomorrow. See if he can deliver a big-time performance. You go win the series. You keep it moving. That would be totally, totally, totally fine. So opportunity to win this series. I just want to be clear. I'm not getting into the 10th inning and, kind of telling you what they did right, what they didn't do right, because I think it's the biggest deal in the world. But look, it's where this game was won and lost, so it's worth going over and worth sort of telling you how it went down, as we always do on our post-game coverage. Before we get to the out-of-town scoreboard, just to recap what Matt Waldron did in this game, because he was really good tonight. 6 innings, 3 earned runs given up. You look at what he did. He gives up the run in the second, but he struck out Carroll with the bases loaded to keep it a 1-1 game. He actually did a really good job in that second inning, limiting the damage. Gave up a solo home run to Gurriel in the 4th inning. That made it a 2-1 D-backs lead. And then from that point on, 1-2-3 5th inning, 1-2-3 6th inning. He comes back out for the 7th, gives up a leadoff single. That run ultimately comes into score with Yuki Matsui on the mound, who gave up an RBI double to Jose Herrera in the 7th inning. So, look, all in all, it was 6+ innings, 3 earned runs given up for Waldron, 106 pitches, 5 hits. I thought he was good in this game. He really was. I mean, let's say he gets taken out after the 6th inning there. It's 6 innings, 2 runs given up. So, was he perfect? No. But was he sort of the guy that he's been since, May 11th? That date we always keep going back to when we talk about Matt Waldron. Yeah, he was really good tonight, I thought. Certainly, good enough to win a ball game. I think the good news for Waldron is that he had, sort of his toughest outing in a while in Boston. Not that it was catastrophic in Boston, but he didn't get past 5 innings, gave up some home runs. It just was not as sharp as what we've seen over the course of the past, more than a handful of weeks, really, the past month and a half, 2 months. But nice to see him kind of look like the guy we've seen here tonight, despite getting a no decision and the Padres not winning this game. So Waldron, I thought, encouraging from him here tonight, and unfortunately the Padres unable to pull it out in extras. And again, you talk about good from this game. Don't overlook the fact that they trailed 4-1 going to the 7th inning, and they found a way to get some big hits when they needed to tie the game. 2 in the 7th inning, 1 in the 8th inning, big game tying double by Kim. I know they didn't end up winning this game, but you do like that. It does mean a little something, right? That another example of them fighting and clawing and not going away when they're trailing late. So, look, it's not, again, when we talk extra innings in the 10th, it's not always going to work out. You could play, last year the Padres played a lot of extra inning games before they won one, and that was kind of, looking back at last year for a second, like that was sort of the amazing thing about last year with the extra innings and going, what was it, 0-12 in their first 12 extra inning games. The incredible, not in a good way, part about it was that there's so much sort of randomness in the extra innings because of how we do it now. That was part of it last year, remember? Where it was like, how on earth could they never win one of these games, considering how wacky it is with the runner on second base and just all the different things that can happen? You would figure you would just stumble into a win in extras at some point. So, just, again, speaks to the point of, talking about the 10th inning. Things get wacky. You got to execute, and if you don't, it can cost you the game. All right, let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, tell you what's going on around the major leagues tonight.
Let's take a trip around the bigs and tell you about the scores you need to know in our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Meat, where great taste meets integrity.
We take a look at scores from around the major leagues today. Everything has gone final. Yankees beat up on the Red Sox 14-4. Ben Rice, 3 home runs on the day for the Yanks. Big day for the rookie. Twins beat the Astros 9-3. A young player for the Twins, highly touted Brooks Lee, hit a home run for Minnesota. Angels beat the Cubs 7-0 in Chicago. Mets beat the Pirates 5-2 in Pittsburgh. Luis Torrens, former Padre, a bases clearing double in that game. Nationals beat the Cardinals 14-6 in D.C. Former Padre prospect James Wood, his first major league home run in that game. Rangers beat the Rays 4-3 in Arlington. Marcus Semien, a 2-run home run for Texas in that one. A's beat up on the Orioles 19-8 in Oakland. How about that? 19 runs on 18 hits for the A's today. Marlins beat the White Sox 4-3 in Miami. Dane Myers, a home run in that game for the Fish. Tigers beat the Reds 5-3 in Cincinnati. Guardians over the Giants 5-4 in Cleveland. Blue Jays 5, Mariners 4 in Seattle. Dodgers beat the Brewers 5-3 in L.A. Shohei Ohtani and Will Smith had home runs in that game for the Dodgers. Braves beat the Phillies 5-1 in Atlanta. Ozzie Albies, a home run in that game for the Braves. Rockies beat the Royals 3-1 in Colorado. Brenton Doyle, a 2-run home run in that game for the Rocks. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Saturday. Again, the Padres fall 7-5 to the Arizona Diamondbacks in 10 innings here tonight. Let's tell you about our player of the game.
Which player had the biggest impact on today's game? Let's find out who is today's player of the game. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Catch every game at Patties and Pints. Plus, enjoy $4 beer every Thursday. Visit valleyviewcasino.com today.
Our player of the game tonight here on the Padres Radio Network, we'll keep it on the Padres side of things because I think we have a really good option here tonight, and that to me would be Ha-Seong Kim. Had a really nice night, 3 hits, couple of doubles, big game-tying RBI double in the 8th inning. Also had an infield single, did a nice job putting the ball in play in the 7th inning. That sort of sparked that 2-run 7th inning. Had another double earlier in the game, so you know, if the Padres end up, let's say, finding a way to score Kim from second base in the 8th inning and win this game, you know, to me, you're going to look at him and that game-tying double as one of the real turning points and big moments in this game. So for all those reasons, we'll stay on the Padres side of things for player of the game tonight. Give it to Ha-Seong Kim. He had a great night. 3 hits in 5 at-bats, 2 doubles, RBI, and a run scored. So really nice night for him. Certainly a lot of guys on the Arizona side of things had some very big hits in this game as well. But very productive night, no doubt about it, for Ha-Seong Kim. When we come back, we'll wrap this one up. We'll hear our play of the game, get you ready for the rubber match of this series tomorrow. Final score, Diamondbacks 7, Padres 5. Our postgame coverage continues when we come back on the Padres Radio Network. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we wrap this one up. Padres fall 7-5 to the Arizona Diamondbacks in 10 innings in the middle game of this three-game series, rubber game of this series tomorrow. We'll have more on that in just a moment. Before we hear tonight's play of the game, one number that played just a big role in this game, and I haven't even said this number in the postgame tonight so far, and I'm going to say it right now. The Padres, as a collective here tonight, went 6 for 19 with runners in scoring position. Now, 6 hits in a game with runners in scoring position, you'll take that every night. I mean, typically that means you're going to win the game. But the 19 opportunities and the fact that they didn't cash in just a couple more times, it's part of the reason the Padres lost this game, because you sort of go through it. There were a lot of missed opportunities. This is going back even to the first inning. I'm just going to run through it here, inning by inning. The first inning, they score the run, right, to make it 1-0 on the Machado RBI single. But then they have runners on first and second, 1 out. They don't score another. Leadoff man on in the second inning, they didn't score. Fifth inning, they have runners on first and third with 1 out. They don't score. Then in the seventh inning, after they make it a 4-3 game, Manny Machado came up and looked, the home plate umpire, just brutal strike 2 call, didn't help him out. But Manny came up, struck out to strand 2 on. Then you look at the eighth inning after Kim ties the game with the RBI double. They failed to get the go-ahead run in from second base as Higashioka grounds out. And then the one that really, really hurt, obviously, was the 10th inning. The Padres made it a 2-run game after the Solano RBI double and the walk to Merrill loads the bases. The Padres have the bases loaded. Nobody out, down by 2. So the tying runs in scoring position and the winning run on first base. And it went strikeout from Johnson, strikeout from Kim, and fly out from Higashioka. So, look, they did some really good things with runners in scoring position in this game, and they also left a lot of runs on the board, and especially in that 10th inning, obviously, sort of a big reason why the Padres did not win this game. But like I've said, handful of times, look, we can talk about the execution in the 10th inning, about Peralta, about the missed opportunities in the bottom half. To me, this is one you shower off. You lost the game in 10. You go get them tomorrow and try to win this series. No big deal. See if the Padres can do that tomorrow. Before we talk about tomorrow, let's hear tonight's play of the game.
What was the crucial play that determined who came out on top? This is today's play of the game, presented by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
Here's the pitch. And a hard hit grounder up the middle that is through and into center, a base hit. Carroll has scored. Perdomo's on his way. Merrill comes up firing. The throw to the plate and the tag, not in time. It was bang, bang at the plate, but a 2-run single for Christian Walker as he turns around an 0-2 pitch, and the Diamondbacks go back in front. It's 6-4.
Our play of the game here tonight, unfortunately, we go with the Diamondbacks. Big hit in the 10th inning. The 2-run single for Christian Walker made it a 6-4 game in the 10th. Diamondbacks would manufacture one more run, but clearly that 2-run single, the biggest hit of the extra inning. So for that reason, Christian Walker, the 2-run single, our play of the game here at Petco Park as the Padres fall 7-5 to the D-backs. All right, looking ahead to tomorrow, rubber game of this 3-game series. First pitch tomorrow at 1:10 p.m. Our pregame coverage will begin at 12:10 from right here inside the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. Pitching matchup tomorrow, right-hander Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres and right-hander Ryan Nelson on the mound for Arizona. As always, if you missed any of our postgame coverage, you can go back and listen to all of it on the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast with Sam Levitt. You can find it on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcast. You can also go watch any of our post-game coverage on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel. Taking a look at the final totals here tonight in 10 innings. The Arizona Diamondbacks, 7 runs, 9 hits, no errors. They left on 7. For the Padres, 5 runs, 14 hits, no errors. They left on 11. Winning pitcher in this game, Ryan Thompson, who improves to 4-3. Losing pitcher, Wandy Peralta, drops to 2-2. And the save goes to Humberto Castellanos, his first save of 2024. Time of game, 3 hours, 33 minutes, and the crowd at Petco Park, the 27th sellout of the season in this building. Tremendous crowd once again, 44,761. Once again, first pitch tomorrow at 1:10. Pregame coverage begins at 12:10. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Frank Marchese, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long and good night from Petco Park. Again, the final score in 10 innings here tonight, the Arizona Diamondbacks 7 and the San Diego Padres 5. We'll talk to you tomorrow from downtown San Diego on the Padres Radio Network. Have a great night, everybody.